Even amid the joys of summer, we receive periodic reminders that evil exists. And that happened again on Friday when author Salman Rushdie was stabbed on stage at Chautauqua in western New York, just as he was about to give a speech on why America is a safe harbor for authors and artists from around the world. Now, Rushdie should be best known for brilliant novels and essays, including the prize-winning Midnight's Children. But unfortunately, Rushdie is best known as the target of a fatwa, a death sentence handed down by Iran's former Ayatollah Khomeini in 1989 in response to the book The Satanic Verses, a magical realist tale which does not treat the Muslim prophet Muhammad with the respect to which some followers believe he is entitled. Here's the thing, of course. Free speech doesn't stop when someone is offended, even and perhaps especially when followers of a specific religion are offended. And that's why another key value of liberal democracy is separation of church and state. The alternative is called theocracy, and that's what Iran is a prime example of. Now, for years, Rushdie lived mostly in hiding, protected by security services, laboring under a death sentence and a life sentence, as the great author Martin Amis noted. But in recent years, the storm clouds seemed to have parted, and Rushdie started to get out more, declaring his determination to live his life free from fear. But fear caught up with him on Friday, in the form of a 24-year-old who was not even born when the offending book was released, and who, like the Ayatollah Khomeini, may have never actually read it. I guess murderous intolerance is easiest when approached with willful ignorance. Now, we're obliged to call Rushdie's assailant his alleged attacker, and to point out that he has pleaded not guilty, to which we should add that he was apprehended on stage after a room full of witnesses watched him stab Rushdie in the neck, face, and stomach. Likewise, headlines dutifully declared that police were still seeking the motive in the stabbing, but forgive me for suggesting you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure that one out. Speaking of headlines, an Iran conservative regime-backed papers lost no time in praising the attempted murder. For example, a hardline newspaper backed by the government editorialized, "Bravo to the warrior and dutiful man who attacked the apostate and wicked Salman Rushdie. The hand of the warrior must be kissed. He tore the vein of Rushdie's neck." Such bloodthirsty comments are little surprise when the Islamist government of Iran is less a republic than a theocratic version of Murder Incorporated, with state-sponsored terror attacks and government execution sprees. But even as we reflect on how its imposition on Persian culture will be seen as a period of oppression in the fullness of time, let's not get too comfortable in our own civilizational self-congratulation. Yes, the United States is a safe harbor for dissident authors and artists from around the world, which is one more reason to embrace our tradition of robust and expansive refugee laws. But let's be honest also. Our own commitment to freedom of speech has eroded in recent years, often, but not exclusively, out of fear of offending one group or another. Rushdie's longtime friend Tina Brown told me, "The sad truth is that the Satanic Verses would never get published today. Timidity and fear of cancellation on multiple fronts has cowed publishers into a craven, risk-averse fear of giving a platform to writers who cause offense." Let that sink in and admit she's got a point. The fatwa is designed to spread fear, and the calculated goal of this controversy is to make people think twice before greenlighting anything that could seem critical or offensive to a fundamentalist vision, often of this specific religion. While America's strength stems from our diversity, it also requires a respect for baseline values rooted in the Constitution. Salman Rushdie has long survived as one of the great symbols of freedom of speech and freedom of expression. In response to the attack, Rushdie's books have rocketed up the charts, a heartening sign of defiance against fear. The additional good news is that the 75-year-old Rushdie seems to be on the mend, though it appears his injuries include the possible loss of an eye. It's safe to say, though, that even then, he will still see farther than most of us. And that's your reality check.